Hello, everybody. This is the first one of these I think we're going to do. We don't do Hearthstone stuff that often. I know Eddie wants to do some eventually. Maybe. Possibly.
The
Uh,
stoning of the hearth.
the
I love
Stoning
it.
of the Hearth. Isn't that lovely? I'm not into doing, like, a weekly thing, but Eddie and I like when new card sets or whether it's an adventure or an expansion comes out, we like to go over the new cards. We kind of like to talk and BS. Kind of our predictions, what we think is going on with it, and we getting this out very quickly because they announced the League of Explorers, which is coming out this Thursday, um, and there's some interesting stuff here. So we're going to kind of break this down. Um, General breakdown: number one, we don't have any pre-order bonuses this time, probably because it's being released this Thursday. So I guess if you want to buy it all at one time, you can. I'm just going to earn it slowly. I don't know. Um, General thoughts: they introduced something called a new ability called Discover this time, Eddie. Um, which
I
is
love it.
which is essentially, uh, according to whatever the Discover criteria are, it gives you 3 random cards that are usable by your class. So you're not going to get something from another class here, and then you just pick one. Which is kind of cool, actually. It'll be interesting to see where we go in the future with this. Um, Something I want to talk about real quick, Eddie, because
Yes.
uh, with the last expansion, Blackrock Mountain, and then our last adventure, Blackrock Mountain, and the previous expansion, the Grand Adventure, uh, it seemed that Blizzard had a very clear objective as far as what they were doing via the meta. They wanted to slow the meta down. I don't think they were successful, but that seemed to be a very clear objective. I'm not seeing. Are you seeing a very clear objective as far as what they're introducing here?
For me, it's a new sort of mechanic with the Discover. Also, I believe that the expansion you were looking for was the Grand Tournament, not the Grand Adventure.
Did
Yes?
I thought I said Grand Tournament.
Nope, you
Whatever.
said Grand Adventure, my good sir.
Yeah,
I just figured I would make sure I clarify. I'm like, wait a minute, I know what you're trying to say. I just want to make sure.
I can't words.
I can understand that completely and entirely. I think with the League of Explorers, for me, this is Blizzard introducing a new mechanic while also introducing just more support cards to come along with it. And really, I can kind of like once we start getting into the actual breakdown of everything, I'll start giving my sort of meta predictions then. But for right now, I do just kind of see this as sort of a here's some ideas that we've been sitting on. We don't want to make you wait till next year for this new adventure. So here's this stuff that we have, and then when next year comes out, they'll have the next pack set, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I see them kind of shoring up some things that they've introduced before, but yeah, mainly it's just a bunch of here's some cool stuff, have fun,
Yeah.
which is fun. So, how we've decided we're going to do this is we're going to break it down via wing. We're pretty much going to go in the order you should unlock this stuff if you're playing through this adventure. So, we're going to break down the cards that way, and we're going to go card by card and kind of give our thoughts on it. So the first one is the Djinni of Zephyrs. It's a 5-cost 4/6 that says whenever you cast a spell on another friendly minion, you cast a copy of it on this one. Eddie, what do you think?
I definitely see this personally going into either highly paladin or potentially druid. And the reason I say druid is because of the Mark of the Wild card that Druid has, being able to give one of your creatures +2/+2 in taunt, and then with him slapped down onto the field, you get 2 +2/+2 creatures with taunt. And plus, the guy's a 5 cost, with him being the 4/6, and just copying when you just go bam. I like it. I really do.
By the way, this is the reason why we have Eddie, is he's a lot more into Hearthstone than I am, and he's a lot more knowledgeable of current Hearthstone meta than I am, so he gets to provide a little bit of a insight into that. For me, yeah, I can see it with certain decks. I can see how it's probably going to get some play. Me, this is not one of the cards I'm the most wild about, to be honest, because I can't think of something that I'm going to use it on. I'm going to use on. But
I also thought about Priest as well.
Oh yeah,
being
healing.
Yeah. Because not only with healing, but also, okay, I'm going to play Power Word Shield on one of my creatures. Oh, hey, Djinni of the Zephyrs is out here too. He's getting a +3 as well.
Inner fire something.
Inner fire something. I mean, this brings potentially a lot of ideas to the forefront when it comes to the Djinni. So, a lot of ways he can be toyed with and played with here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people do with it. Next up on the list is the Jeweled Scarab. It's a 2-cost, 1/1 beast with the battle cry of discover a 3-cost card. I think we're talking about this, and I think the reason you like it, Eddie, is that it keeps that mana curve up, because you're going to automatically have a 3-cost card on to play your next turn.
Oh yeah, you get him to where it's opening hand, and depending on, like, say, if you're going first and you don't have the coin, so you can play your 1-cost card, or if you even have a 1-cost card, you just pass turn. Next turn, 2-cost card being Jeweled Scarab, you play him. It gives you a choice of 3 different 3-cost cards. Now, depending on who or what you're going up against, this can change what you would want to pull out, because there are so many different 3-cost cards in the game that you can pick up and just piddle out there. And plus, with it being neutral, it can be put into any deck. Now, let's also not forget that it's also a beast. So, those decks that specialize in beasts, looking at Hunter and looking at Druid, this is one of those cards that kind of synergizes with that beast mechanic, or beast archetype. So, something to kind of get rattled in people's heads, depending on the curve that you get with your hand. It's something that could benefit you greatly, or just be something to get you a real quick 3-cost you can just throw out.
Yeah, and this can really take a crappy hand and kind of make it a little bit better, because that means you're not going to be kind of sitting going, oh crap, a lot of times, because you can play this on your second turn, or if you have the coin and nothing else to play, you'll play this on turn 1. I do not recommend it, but yeah, second turn, you'll automatically have something for that's 3-cost. Okay, let's move on to this class challenge, because it sounds like we don't have any more to talk about there. The class challenge for the first boss is Warrior, and the reward is the Obsidian Destroyer. It's a 7-cost 7/7 that says at the end of your turn you can summon a 1/1 Scarab with Taunt. Speaking as this is where I said they were trying to shore up some types that they were trying to push in the last expansion, Eddie. The big one being Taunt Warrior. That's actually one of the decks that I actually built in the last expansion. I actually moved my Taunt deck over from Priest to Warrior to take advantage of some of the Warrior stuff. So yeah, I'm very interested in this card, because you can have it's not a rare, it's not a legendary, which means you can have 2 of these in a deck if you really wanted to. And the fact that for example, I run Hogger, is having this thing and having Hogger like hiding behind a taunt wall, and this thing just keeps on producing more taunt. I like it.
Definitely agree with you there, because it just keeps spinning out taunt. And being able to just keep getting the fit, and it synergizes as well with the bolster card that was the 2 cost of give your taunt creatures +2/+2. Having that, if you're going to try to focus in your warrior deck around that taunt mechanic, with the sparring partner of give one of your creatures taunt, something to kind of throw and kick around in there, just as ideas and such. Also, for you, Bulb, to give you the heads up, with the, because we're playing Xenar first, and then I think his name is Ferrix?
Sunrider Ferrix, yeah.
Yeah, I could be potentially butchering that.
I mean, we're not going into how the bosses actually operate. We're just telling you what you're getting.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like looking through the Hearthstone, or the Hearthstone, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
With Ferrix, you get the 2 cards of Anubisath Sentinel and Summoning Stone.
I know what we're getting, because we haven't even gone to him yet.
Oh, well, pardon me, my good sir. I guess we'll come around to that when we come around to it.
In fact, let's come around to the next one. Anubisath Sentinel. It's a 5-cost, 4/4 with the death rattle of give a random friendly minion +3/+3. I like this card.
It is so... I'm just gonna say it. It's so dumb, it's good.
Yeah.
You can, with it being a neutral, I hate to cut you off there.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's so good for being a neutral. You can practically plug this into any deck, and it'd be a benefit. One of the biggest kind of benefits I would say, and I kind of hate to say it at the same time, is Secret Paladin. Secret Paladin would highly benefit from this, because you're going to play him on turn 5, and then, depending on if he gets blown up, and what the field and board looks like, field/board, excuse me, playing your Mysterious Challenger the next turn, you're sitting there, you could be potentially looking at gains beyond comprehension, because normally with the Secret Paladin, you're with the Mysterious Challenger, you're pulling 4 to 5 secrets a turn. And of course, with Competitor Spirit, you're getting +1 to everything on the field. You have Avenge, which giving your creature +3/+2. If that thing gets blown, +3/+3 for the maximum of a +7/+6 to 1 creature that could be sitting on the field. The damage potential from that is just Now, don't get me wrong, it can be silenced. The whole with the increase, but and then you get the idea of the death rattle ability that with combo in like Baron Rivendare to be able to make it to where it does it twice. Words can't even really express the just amount of pluses you can have with this Anubisath Sentinel.
Yeah, I think you just took one of my examples there, because you're going on and on about Paladin. I'm on Secret Paladin. I'm saying imagine the Death Rattle decks. I know Death Rattle isn't as big as it once was, or you say it's bigger on up in the ranks. But I, for example, my biggest deck is I run a Death Rattle deck, and I love this idea because the whole idea with Death Rattle, with the Death Rattle deck is you expect your creatures to die, and if your creatures don't die, they're just going to do stupid stuff anyway. So it's kind of like a plus either way, and just this buffs up creatures that you know it's great, and the fact that, like Eddie said, you're gonna have Baron Rivendare, who's going to be giving random doing this effect twice, and then any Death Rattle deck should be running Kalthazad, which means this thing comes back. Holy crap! There's kind of combos you can run. I was telling Eddie what I'm kind of sad though is I'm looking at my Death Rattle deck and I'm looking at it going, I'm not sure I have a place for this. I love this card so much. It'll be interesting. I'm going to find a place for this somewhere. But I love this card. This definitely makes the first quarter worth it for me. Especially this boss, because we're about to get ready onto Summoning Stone. Do you mind moving on, Eddie?
The only other thing I would say at the end of this, I would honestly put this as one of the top cards that will definitely change how the game is played.
Yeah.
But we can go on to Summoning Stone now, buddy.
Yeah. Summoning Stone. It's a 5-cost 0/6 that says whenever you cast a spell, summon a random minion of the same cost. Eddie, I don't think Eddie was as impressed when he saw this card. I saw this card, and I'm thinking, the stupid stuff I can do with this if I build the right mage deck. We already have mage decks that are built around unstable portals. Add in unstable portals, add in effigies, and I know there's a bunch of different creatures that spawn other creatures randomly. This card, put in the right mage deck, has the potential to just play random crazy mage. It's not a deck that you can expect to win all the time. It's a deck that you just see what crazy crap happens and have fun with it. I think this is going to be a fun card to play. It might not be the winning card to play, but I think it will be a fun card to play.
Now, see, that's where I think where you come in with that at least that little bit of expertise there is you're going on the, hey, this is where this card shines. It shines in the fun side of things.
Yeah.
To where with me, I'm more along the lines I'm trying to crank out the competitive side of it. Like, what can this card do on the competitive side? Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of cards out there. Like, if you can get him down to where he can survive long enough on the field, if by chance you get him to where you can play, like, Pyroblast on turn 10. Now, I don't expect him to go down like turn 9 or anything like that. But if he stays around long enough to where you can get benefits and gains from him, then by all means, he's a card that will be fun to see, kind of just see what pops out of him from his power and ability. Plus, you also have the synergy if you would want to play it alongside the Nexus Champion Sarad, which was you use your hero power and you get a random spell. So let's play those two in tandem with each other and see what kind of crazy outcomes you get.
Eddie, I'm so glad that they are bringing they're working on extra deck slots because you're giving me ideas here.
See, it's one of those things where you never know what'll go.
Random mage, it's going to be a thing.
Maybe.
It'll be a thing for me. It'll be a thing for me. I'm going to create this deck. If nothing else, I want my opponent going, what the bleep am I playing?
Who is this person? Why are they playing this? This made no sense at all.
Yeah. Oh. Let's move on to the class challenge. This one is Warlock. If you win the Warlock class challenge, you get a Dark Peddler. It's a 2-cost 2/2 creature with the battle cry of discover a 1-cost card. I'm just going to say it. Warlock cards generally are very, very big on the negative repercussion side of things. And I like the idea of a Warlock card that isn't interesting in screwing you over. Kudos. This could actually be a card I would want to play if I would play Warlock.
Zoo. I'm just going to say it. This is where this card's going to go, because play him at turn 2, or hey, even potentially turn 1 if you coin into him, and pull him, and just vomit cards. That's what that deck specializes in, is a lot of field. So definitely kudos to them for having this sort of card come out to where we can all enjoy it.
Yeah, and like I said, as we're going through, it seems like the name of the game this time is just fun. Okay, moving on to the next section, or the next area, which is actually an escape, which is new. We have Rumbling Elemental. It's a 4-cost 2/6 Shaman creature that says after you play a Battlecry minion, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. You may start noticing this. They made a really big deal about Battlecry this time. Before, Battlecry was just in several creatures, and it was just a type of effect. No big deal. I'm not sure, Eddie, do you know if people tried to go out of their way to make Battlecry decks like they did with like Charge or Death Rattle or anything?
I honestly, when playing and climbing up the ladder a little bit, I've not seen too many big things where it focuses in on Battlecry. So I can't exactly say that, oh hey, Battlecry meta incoming.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen, and I think the reason why is because stuff like Charge or Death Rattle are almost unique enough where it makes sense to kind of make these themed decks on them. But Battlecry, it's all over the place. I don't think very many people thought about it. And it just seems that they're adding in cards with this expansion that really plays off of using the Battlecry mechanic and basically basing a deck around the Battlecry mechanic. And I think it's very interesting. I think we might actually see some actual Battlecry decks rise out of this. And this is the first minion we're seeing that actually takes advantage of that.
It's in Shaman, though, so with Shaman, Shaman's not I would say the strongest class. It's one of those kind of in the middle niche classes to play. So I don't know if we'll see decks focused on Battlecry, but there will be definitely creatures that, it could synergize with.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Up next is Sacred Trial. Speaking of Secret Paladin, Sacred Trial is a 1-cost Paladin secret that says when your opponent has at least 3 minions and plays another, destroy it.
It's evil, but the problem being, though, with Secret Paladin, or at least even I would say Mid Paladin for that matter as well, because they focus with the secrets they get put in Mid Paladin. You have so many slots for what secrets you want to kind of cram in there. I don't know exactly what you would take out to make sure that this got put in. Now, don't get me wrong. This will help shut down some of the aggro decks that you see. Because, oh, hey, look at me. I've got 3 creatures on the field. I'm going to play this one because it's like, woohoo, I've got it. And then pop goes that weasel.
Yeah.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't know with how tightly structured those secrets are, where that will go in.
Yeah.
I need to play it, or at least play against it, and then we'll see where it goes from there. It could be a game changer. I won't put it in the top, but I'll put it kind of like in the outlier of potentially game changing.
Okay. And if you defeat everything, you get 2 cards. The first one is Ancient Shade. It's a 4-cost, 7/4 creature with the battle cry of shuffle an Ancient Curse into your deck that deals 7 damage to you when drawn. It's something I actually kind of started to see introduced in the set. I'm not sure if I want to say introduced, but I think it's a reaction to what's the name of it? I had it and went boom.
Describe it, and I can maybe.
It's a 4-cost card, Eddie.
Ah, crud.
Well, 4 cost doesn't help. Effect.
It's the 4-cost creature, Eddie. Anyway, just the idea of having more powerful 4-cost creatures, but to not really have any power creep, basically is all these really powerful 4-cost cards have some big downsides. It's the mech deck. It's the mech.
Piloted Shredder?
Piloted Shredder. Why did I forget Piloted Shredder?
You said the 4-cost card. I'm like, okay, I know there's
It's
plenty of them.
It's the 4-cost. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's a reaction to Piloted Shredder, because Piloted Shredder is incredibly good, so good that they kind of had to they had to introduce cards that could take it out or survive. Take it out and survive, because it was almost game breaking. But yeah, they're introducing really powerful 4-cost cards, but to avoid a Piloted Shredder situation, they all have some big downsides. And this one puts something in your deck that will do 7 damage when you draw it. I mean, it's a huge downside. I don't see myself playing it because I don't like cards like this personally. But I know there are others that will, and they'll put it in their deck just so they can have that super powerful card turn 4. So I think we're going to see this, but not a lot because of the battle cry. What do you think, Eddie?
I'll give the battle cry part of it, because it's okay, draw, and you have to draw that deals 7 damage to yourself. And depending on what phase in the game you draw that 7 damage, it's one antique heal bot away from just being completely negated. Now, it also depends on what deck you're going to play him in. So, take, for example, Control Warrior as something that this could potentially crop up in. I'm not saying that it will, but it's just something that is an idea to throw out. With how much armor you bank in that deck, getting your armor hit for 7
Is just like, tickle. Okay. I just took 7 damage. No big deal. I'm going to gain more back next turn.
But there's another card within this set that's coming out that I will
Definitively defend to the high heavens that will be in Control Warrior, but
when we get to it, I will definitely be speaking its praises. As far as Ancient Shade goes,
I'm going to put it where I put Sacred Trial, an outlier. Because I want to see it. I want to see it in play before I give full commitment on Ancient Shade being a big-time game changer.
Okay. And every wing has an explorer. The explorer of that wing is going to be your legendary card. The legendary card for this wing is Reno Jackson. He's a 6-cost for 6, with the battle cry of if your deck contains no more than one of any card, fully heal your hero.
I will go out because of how it is worded and say that, you can run your 2s of whatever you want to run your 2s of. And you can still play him. and just like slap him on the field and go, haha, I'm healed back to full now. Or if you want to be that guy and you want to just like do what I've seen like people like Total Biscuit do and build the 30 card legend deck and have him kind of slapped and slammed in there to where it's like, oh no, I'm dying, whatever shall I Reno, and then whoop, I'm back up again. So it's another one of those cards to where personally I could potentially see it in in Control Warrior because of how Control Warrior operates and works and how it runs a lot of one copies of certain things. I can see him in there just to give that quick throw back to full health, and then of course with the armor being able to spin it up more. It's a thought. I could see it being thrown to try to counteract face hunters or secret paladins or any of those other aggro heavy decks, if you can survive that long to get it out there. But Bob, what do you think?
I think that I could build a deck that could use him. I think it's a very situation specific type card. So I'm not sure if we're going to see this a lot. However, for everybody who builds those decks that goes, I can't have all the cool stuff and decides just to run one copy of everything, this would be a nice thing to kind of slip in there. I don't know. I don't think we're going to see this one a lot, but I think we could, again, people experimenting to see what kind of cool ideas they can come up with. Me included. I might experiment with this one. I don't know. We'll kind of see. Okay, moving on to the next section. When it comes up. Okay. The next card is Tunnel Trogg. It's a 1-cost, 1/3 shaman creature that says whenever you overload, gain +1 attack per locked mana crystal.
I have to say that with Shaman and its overload, you can play this. Like, if you would want to focus on the overload part. Now, don't get me wrong, your locked crystals are a hindrance, of course, but with the 2-cost card that came from Blackrock Mountain being able to give you all of your mana crystals back, having him in your deck alongside the Unbound Elemental, it's kind of like having your own mana worm in Shaman now.
Yeah. It gives... Overload is, again, one of those mechanics that I'm not really fond of. I've had to play with it before, but overall, I'm not fond of it. It doesn't fit my play style. But I know there are people who use it to cast some really good stuff with Shaman. And that's actually... I think it really does help push the Overload strategy, or the Overload game style, or deck style, a little bit more than we've really seen. And it gives a little bit more incentive. So it should be interesting to see if people take that up, take this up, and take on the challenge and try to play Overload again.
Definitely a thought.
Yeah. Next we have Ethereal Conjurer. It's a 5-cost 6/3 with the battle cry of Discover a Spell. Yes, please.
Somebody likes their conjurer.
This is... Yeah, let's put this in Mage and give it a spell. And then play around with that stone from earlier. What was it, Summoning Stone?
Mm-hmm.
You know, put this in Summoning Stone, give me a random spell, and let me cast a spell and get a random creature. Yeah, this could be fun.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's discover a spell, and because of how it's worded, I'm going to say that more than likely we're looking at something that will go into every class. Pick 3 random.
Well, it can't be every
spells.
class. It's a mage specific card.
It just says discover a spell. You remember when
No,
we got...
but here's the problem. If you actually look at... one of the things I said about the discoverability is it only gives you cards that your class can use. You're only getting mage cards here.
Really now?
Yes.
Now, see, that kind of changes things because of...
You get your choice of 3 random mage spells. Have fun.
Because, see, it made me think about Spellslinger when it came out.
Yeah, but that's part of the discover effect.
Interesting.
Oh, great. We got Eddie thinking about it now.
Interesting. Because, see, if it's one of those things where if he's going to just go super heavy into just mage, then with him just going straight into mage, it's like, okay, which one do I want to grab out of mage? Because there are so many good cards, so many good spells in mage that you can just pluck and go, I'm going to use this for this situation. I'm just going to sit on it until I need it. And then fling. Now, if it by chance does work the way that I was assuming it worked at first, it has its benefits of being able to reach in and grab any spell, depending on what one it would grab. Like, out of the RNG that you could potentially pick from the 3, one you could grab could be alright, or bleh. You get the idea.
Yeah. I can't see a mage deck or many mage decks that won't run this. Again, it depends on the mage deck. But if you want if you're needing an extra minion, if you're building a mage deck, you definitely want to pop this one in.
Especially one that focuses on spells.
Yeah. And this synergizes so well with a lot of stuff. So I mean, this is going to be a highly played card.
I can see it.
Yeah. So the class challenge is Druid, and for that you get a mounted Raptor. It's a 3-cost, 3/2 beast with the death rattle of summon a random 1-cost minion.
Three cost, I like. The summoning a random 1-cost minion, that's the only kind of thing that doesn't sit well, because it depends on the 1-drop that they throw at you.
Yeah.
Because it could throw you the most garbage of 1-costs.
Well,
And you're just sitting there going, I didn't need that. Or it could throw you one of the better 1-drops, like, just by chance, we'll throw out Blood Imp.
yeah.
So I can see the benefits, I can see the negatives. With it being a beast, it synergizes more and more with that beast archetype, if you would, in Druid, if you would want to kind of focus and hone in on it.
Yeah.
It's giving you more flavor, more play for it.
Yeah. And my thinking is it's always nice to have a free minion. I don't play Beast Druid, but yeah, I could see the appeal. Okay, next up. Oh, I love this thing. Tomb Spider. It's a 4-cost, 3/3 beast with the battle cry of Discover a Beast. Why would you not run this in a beast deck? There's no reason. It's a free beast. That you get a beast, you get your choice of 3 beasts, you put one in your hand. If I'm running a beast deck, I'm running this freaking thing. And the fact of the matter that this is an adventure means that when I get this, I get 2 copies I can potentially put in. So I don't have to go get open decks to get 2 of these. I automatically have 2 of these. Why wouldn't you put 2 of these in a freaking beast deck?
It synergizes the idea more so again with the Druid Beast, if you'd want to play it. Or, for the Hunter fans out there, this is one of those cards that you're playing Beast Hunter. It gives you more ammo, more...
Yeah.
Just anything you would... Potentially anything you would want by being able to go, okay, 1, 2, 3. Which one of these do I want? Give me that one.
And if you're playing Beast Hunter, the whole idea, if you're playing Beast Hunter, because I have a Beast deck, is that you want to have the choice of getting these beasts right off the bat. Even better if it's beasts that are not in your deck. That's why web spinners are great. That's why this is a great card. It's also great, that's why you have stuff like Call Pet and all these other things. But having the ability to spawn free beasts is key in Hunter. And I love this effect. This is going in a deck. I love this card, Eddie.
Hey.
So, next up we have Unearthed Raptor. It's a 3-cost 3/4 rogue creature with the battle cry of choose a friendly minion and gain a copy of its death rattle effect. If only this wasn't rogue.
Right?
I know. For those of you who want to build rogue death rattle decks, this is a must-have, but since my death rattle deck happens to be Warlock, I like the effect of this card, but it's absolutely useless to me.
Let's take that piloted shred that you were talking about earlier, and let's just play Unearthed Raptor and then copy that
little booger.
Yeah.
Or hey, piloted Sky Shredder.
Oh.
Or Harvest Golem.
Yeah.
I mean, the possibilities. I just named 3 of those just right off the top of my head. There are so many different death rattle creatures that you could hammer and focus in on.
Yeah. If you want to try building a rogue death rattle deck, go right ahead. This will be perfect incentive, but I don't know. We'll see if it gets used. I like the effect. I'm just not sure it's in the right class. That's just me, though. What do you think, Eddie?
I gave my thoughts.
Okay. Next up, oh, I love this thing. We have the Fierce Monkey. It's a 3-cost 3/4 beast that is a warrior-specific creature, and it has Taunt. Essentially, if you are running Taunt Warrior, here we go. It's a free replacement to get rid of. It is better than it's better than your Ironfur Grizzlies. It's definitely better. It replaces your Ironfur Grizzlies. But what's great is instead of making Ironfur Grizzly completely useless, it's only completely useless in Warrior. Ironfur Grizzly is still optimal in any other class. And I like this because, again, they're kind of shoring up Taunt Warrior, and they give you a better 3-cost Taunt creature. It makes Ironfur Grizzly obsolete for the deck, and it's a lot better. It's a lot better version. I love this thing.
You kind of took the words right out of my mouth on that one. Giving it, it's a 3-cost 3/4. It can survive most 3-drops. And most, 2-drop spells that could potentially get rid of the 3 Ironfur Grizzly.
Yeah.
So, definitely worth it to run. Getting 2 copies of it, why wouldn't you? Especially if you're going to try to focus in on Taunt warrior.
Yep. Okay, next up, Reliquary Seeker, a 1-cost 1/1 warlock creature that has Battlecry. If you have 6 other minions, gain +4/+4. I'm gonna let you, since I kind of took the words right out of your mouth. The last one, I'm gonna let you take this one, Eddie.
Reliquary Seeker, I'm gonna put it in its proper deck, which is Zoo. Because of the field number of cards you would need to have for its battle cry effect to work. Being able to have, like, the haunted... I'm going to say
Haunted Creeper, because he's the 2-cost 1/2 beast that summons you the 2 spiderlings.
Yeah, that's Haunted Creeper.
Thank you for confirming that. And then, of course, having Implosion. Because, hey, let me just throw some spell damage at that creature on your side of the field. And then I have that many imps, and then however many other creatures I have on my side of the field. And then Reliquary Seeker for basically a 5-cost play. Other than that, I really don't see it getting played.
Yeah. But again, I like the trend of warlock creatures that don't try to screw you. Let's see more of that.
Yeah.
The class challenge this time around is Paladin with Keeper of Uldaman. It's a 4-cost 3/4 creature with Battlecry, set of minions, attack, and health to 3. Yeah, Paladin's going to use this a lot, especially if they're building a deck around their hero power.
The Silver Hand Knights.
Yeah, the Silver Hand recruits. Yeah. This would definitely go if you're making a Silver Hand recruit deck. This will definitely go in it.
And let's not forget, that's a really big creature you got there. Shame if it became a 3/3.
Yep.
A really bad shame.
Or, oh no, my creature is only a 1-something. It's a 3/3 now.
Yep. It's I think it will see play. I'm not sure how often it's going to see play. I guess it's going to just depend on the. I mean, it's a middling card. Let's just be honest. It's a middling card.
I can agree with that.
Okay. So if you defeat all the bosses, you're going to get these cards. The legendary is Brann Bronzebeard, a 3-cost 2/4 legendary creature with the effect of your battle cries trigger twice. This is why I said that they're really, really promoting battle cries and the possibility of a battle cry deck. They're really promoting that with this expansion. Essentially, Brann Bronzebeard is the Brann Bronzebeard is the Baron Rivendare for battle cries.
Yes.
This basically makes, hey, if you want to run a Battlecry deck, this basically is your reason to, right here. No other card, just this.
I agree with you there, and he costs less than Baron Rivendare, and as far as his stats go, he's a lot more shorter statted.
Yeah. But that makes sense because battle cries are going to be hitting off. They're a lot more. They're instantaneous, where Death Rattle relies on your creatures dying.
Yes, so it's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. This thing is just nuts.
It can be if you use it proper. Like, take Shattered Sun Cleric. Battlecry, give your creature +1/+1. Oh, hey, looky there, +2/+2.
Yeah. I mean, oh my word, stuff you can do with that, especially since they're introducing a lot of Battlecry creatures in this expansion that do some crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for every good card, we must have an incredibly bad card. How about Excavated Evil? A 5-cost priest spell that says deal 3 damage to all minions, and you shuffle this card into your opponent's deck. Why would you play this? Why? I understand that you'll play the deal a damage to all minions if you're really desperate, but it's not a one-off thing. Once you play this card, it never goes away. Just by putting it in your deck, you're basically saying this card's never going to go away, and it's just going to screw everybody over and 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 over again. Why would you play this card?
I can say why. However, it's a format too late, in all honesty. The reason you would play this card is because you're facing off against Patron Warrior. Now, if this would have came out during the time to where Patron was a bit more hotter to say, it would be probably one of the top freaking cards you would want to make sure you had in your priest deck, because 3 damage to all minions. I'm just going to wipe the field. I don't care. You can have this back. You can have this on your side. You can have this in your deck. Warrior, I don't care. If you play that, you're wiping your side of the field as well as mine. And hey, if you play it, guess what? I get to have it back in my deck. I can understand the benefits of it, because of you playing it, doing a quick field nukage, and then it going into your opponent's deck, and then you're sitting there just going, I'm going to sit here and wait and see if you play it. Because if you play it, I get it back. And if I need it, I get to blow up your field again.
I just don't get this card, but whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where I think it might be a format too late. But then again, I could be wrong. I could definitively be wrong. We'll see. We'll see what happens after it's released into the world for everyone to get their hands on it and play with it.
Yep. Well, I think we're only halfway through, and we've been going at this for about an hour, so we're going to cut this off here, and we'll be back tomorrow with the second half, where we kind of finish off with the cards, and also kind of go by about talking about classes and which one made off like a bandit and which one got screwed. So we'll see you guys then.
Bye.